What is so unique about Neil is he has experience in effective and credible leadership in the public sector, the private sector, and the nonprofit charitable sector. And it's very rare to have an individual who has leadership success in all three arenas, and Neil does. Professionally, Neil attributes his father, Lloyd, with his professional success. Lloyd was a surveyor and worked very closely with Neil and getting started in his career. He was Neil's inspiration. Then when he went to college, he went to K-State, got an engineering degree, and then worked for a paper mill in Louisiana, and eventually came back to Kansas, worked for some engineering firms, and then worked for the City of Topeka Public Works Department.
And he was a project manager for us for about 4 or 5 years, moved up to Deputy Director of Public Works. He worked for me, then I worked for him. Then Neil left the city and went back into the private sector. And then he came back to the City of Topeka as Director of Public Works. There were some changes in the administration, and then Neil moved up to the city manager's position at the time.
Which was a very difficult position to take at that time as we were transferring from the strong mayor form of government to the city manager form of government. Neil stepped up and really was an outstanding acting city manager.
The administration changed again. Then Neil went back to the private sector with Bartlett West.
Neil had so many connections through his experience with the city and with the private consulting firms. That, I believe, was probably the most significant thing that led him into success, into a management role very soon after he came into the company, and into a leadership role on the board of directors at Bartlett and West. All of those things happened relatively quickly, actually much more quickly than it ever happened for anyone else that came into the company.
One big win for Bartlett and West, it's also a win for our community, was when Neil was a part of the team that worked together to win the Polk Quincy Viaduct project from KDOT, and that's going to be an incredible improvement for our community, and we would not have been on that winning team without Neil's input and help.
Neil showed great leadership. He had a personality that was easy to work with, extremely intelligent. He could get things done, and he did them very, very efficiently and effectively.
He has this ability to bring people together and get them all headed in the same direction for a positive goal. And he has this great ability to be a calming force a lot of times, especially in a contentious situation, where he uses his incredible wit and he has this self-deprecating humor most times, and it really is used as an icebreaker a lot of times.
I've seen him do it on the public side at contentious public meetings. I've seen him do it around the table in difficult meetings inside of a conference room as well. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I really greatly respect about Neil.
I think Neil feels very strongly that it's important to give back to the community. And through his involvement through the chamber and as acting city manager, he's very well respected.
Again, Neil, having been on both sides here in the community, both on the government side and in the private sector side, has better perspective than just about anybody I know. His involvement with the chamber, because of the unique perspectives that he brought to the table, I think is probably the most significant. He was one of 3 or 4 people who actually developed the concept for the downtown renovation.
He was also active in the APWA, American Public Works Association. He was chair of their governmental relations arm. He just brings a lot of credibility and leadership to every position he's in.
I know he was on the board of the Topeka Symphony. He's currently on the board of Topeka Civic Theater.
He was one of the initial folks that worked on the Riverfront Authority and has made great contributions there. Also, with his wife Beth, has headed up the Caritas Ball for St. Francis, which is their fundraising effort. Neil and his wife Beth just make an awesome team. They both are so civic-minded and so giving, and the fact fact that she's always there backing him up and doing great things on her own as well, I'm sure makes it so much easier for him to accomplish everything that he's accomplished.
Very few people know this, but he's an excellent bass guitarist. He plays in a band.
That makes perfect sense to me because most bass players are those guys that are back there pulling the music together, and that's just what Neil does in every aspect of his life.
He's very active in his church. He enjoys reading and sporting events, and so he carves out time for himself.
He's had multiple opportunities to go other places and bigger places, and he has time and again chosen Topeka as the place he wanted to live and to make his mark and make his positive contribution, and we're all better for that.